Hello, good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to AnthSOLOgy. This is a show for people and by people who used to be in bands and then they suddenly weren't, thanks to the coronavirus, or as we prefer to call it, the duration. Or they were solo performers who now suddenly don't have a venue because, well, you can't really play out to an audience when you can't be in public or breathe on them. Instead, we have the internet, and it has been such a pleasure. This is episode 6, where we have 3 brand new performers who are going to be performing 2 songs in a random chaos format for your pleasure. So, without any further ado, or babbling from me. Again, I'm Dr. Jessica Hebert of the PDX Broadsides. My pronouns are she and her, and I am excited to welcome these people, and I hope you're excited too. So starting first with the person to my left, all the way from Southern California, a masterful musician making songs sometimes in German and sometimes just about the things that make her laugh. This is Zoenda McIntosh. Zoenda, hello!
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
So, what would you like the people to know about you and maybe some of the music that you'll be playing today?
All right, I'm going to front sell it for you. I'm a Zoenda. I'm a Sagittarius. I met Dr. Jessica through an online music group called Theme Music, and it's actually in Theme Music where I discovered my innate draw to be a songwriter. So I've written and recorded 2 albums worth of originals, and I have a 3rd one in the works under the name PERIL. And that's at PERIL. And I've also released 4 albums of covers. So I'm really looking forward to this. I prefer to write on the ukulele. I'm starting to bust out of that and be on the piano some more and use GarageBand and Logic and all that. It's good to be here.
Yay! Well, we're glad to have you. And I know it's kind of an adventure along with learning to make music by yourself, learning the technology around that.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, getting all kinds of different microphones and having the setup today with the interface. I'm trying new things, expanding my comfort zone, not stepping out of it, but expanding it.
Expanding it.
Yes.
Thermal expansion.
Yeah, why not? Here's my vibe is honestly like, if not now, when? Like this is what we're all drawn to do. I love making music. I don't know if it's for everyone, and that's okay. I want to make it and I want to put it out there, and it's really great to be included in this.
I'm so glad to have you. So we're going to hear music from you in a minute.
Yes.
Down kitty corner in this fabulous room with so many colors, all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Not Brooklyn.
Close.
Circa Brooklyn, New York. It's magnificent. Sunday comes afterwards, aka Stevonnie Ross. Hello, Stevonnie. Where are you?
Hi there. I am in fact in Jersey City, although I prefer to think of it as a New York metropolitan area.
It's across the river.
Yes, across the Hudson.
Got it. All of those the little states squished down on the map, and then you have to use a magnifying glass and blow it up a little bit. So you have made some fabulous music that's been covered by the likes of the Double Clicks, and I love what you were able to do with putting yourself out into the universe. So would you tell our audience a little bit about the kind of music you enjoy making, what we're going to hear from you today?
Sure. So I do I guess geek folk music. I like Double Clicks a lot. Those kind of my inspirations, I guess. So think of me as them, but one person and not as good. But anyway, I play.
You have to sell yourself.
Sorry. 2.0. So yeah, I play the ukulele. I do. Yeah. So the song I'm most known for is a pronoun song, which Double Clicks covered. Which I'm not doing today, but it's a good song. You can check it out on YouTube, either my version or their version. I also recently had my annual spike in viewings for. I have an arrangement of All the Little Angels by Terry Pratchett, which got covered by a couple people this year. So I'm very happy about that. And yeah, I release stuff on my channel on a fairly regular basis. For the current duration, I've been doing live streams every month on the fourth Sunday of the month. And also, yeah, I do originals, I do covers. I'm hoping to release my first album this year, although I'm kind of behind schedule. I had planned to learn all the things about music production in the last couple of months, but for some reason my mind has been in other places. Go figure.
Seriously, there's the meme that going around essentially like, well, what did you learn to do during the duration? You learn to survive, and sometimes you just have to take care of yourself. I am sure that you are going to pick up some of the skills that you need, and we're going to get a fabulous solo album from you when this is all over. We'll hear from you in a moment. And now, finally, our third guest, who is hopefully with us, all the way from the wilds of Wisconsin, on the fiddle, playing with folks like Play It with Moxie and Shauna McGuire and Mary Crowell and Lady Mondegreen and thousands of other bands. It's Amy McNally. Hi, Amy.
Oh, hi. My name's Amy, and I play the fiddle.
Good talk.
I've been playing the violin since I was 3. I started through the Suzuki method, and at the time when a lot of like kids/teenagers tend to drop out is when I found folk and filk music, and that's home.
Yeah.
Hi, home.
What makes filk in particular home for you? Because we've talked about filk a few times on AnthSOLOgy, and that the fact that it's a community. What does that mean for you?
Oh, it just means like people who get my jokes. And when I tell jokes about Heinlein, and when I tell jokes about, being white and nerdy, like people get it. Filk is not like a hot spot for instrumental music. It's like that's not what it's known for, but there's lots of instrumental music in it. I get to be part of so many awesome things. So
Well, we're glad that we get to have you be a part of AnthSOLOgy today. And we're going to hear music from all these fabulous folks as soon as you, the audience, help us out. So they have chosen numbers between 1 and 6. Over in the chat box, the first person to type in a number between 1 and 6 gets to choose our first performer today through this innovative chaos format. It's like a D6 method. I always mean to bring a D6 in with me. And then I don't. I'm a terrible nerd. I don't know why I just don't have a D6 affixed to my person. Probably because then I couldn't roll it. That would be difficult. I maintain that I can do anything in this life except turn a cartwheel. So putting a D6 on me and having to roll myself would be bad.
Awkward.
They are behind about 30 seconds on the stream or so it'll take a minute for that number to come up. So I want you to contemplate your own doom. The joy of
I'm soaking in it now.
Oh, we have a number. We have a number in the box from Rosa Moss. I'm sorry, Rosa Moss. It's number 2. Who's number 2?
Me.
Yes. So you get to start the show. You get to start us off with a number. I would like to say hello, audience. If you type !who over in the chat box, it'll pop up all the commands that you can type in !Zoenda, Stevonnie, Amy, or Dr. Jess, and you can find out more about all the performers today, including where to find their music online. So we're starting with Stevonnie, all the way from Jersey City, and other performers, if you would please mute yourself, and Stevonnie, take it away.
Okay, so this is a brand new song. It's from... They had a song prompt on songalong.wtf, which is a project of Maya Lewis and Ken Plume, challenging people to write new songs. It was to make a superhero theme song, which I did not do in time. Plus, it ended up not being kind of out of spec, but that was the inspiration for this. Nobody has heard it yet. I don't know if it's any good or not, because it's only been in my head so far. So we'll find out. One Tuesday near the Jamba Juice, I saw a tiny shop. It was selling superpowers at $1,000 a pop. Now I was feeling really hurt, I was dumped the day before. I asked for invulnerability and the merchant answered sure. And now laser beams bounce off of me and bullets do the same. And sticks and stones can't break my bones, but what about the names? I wanted to be safe from pain, I wanted to be free. Turns out invulnerability ain't what it's supposed to be. I spend my days fighting crime, working with goodwill. 'Cause with great power, blah blah blah, I'm sure you know the drill. But every night I'm at the mall, looking for a tiny store. And if I ever find that one again, they're gonna hear me roar. 'Cause laser beams bounce off of me, bullets do the same. And sticks and stones can't break my bones, but what about the names? I wanted to be safe from pain, wanted to be free. Turns out invulnerability ain't what it's supposed to be. Just sign here, said the merchant, the fine print's legal jargon. But later on I read it, it clarified the bargain. Our service has limits, you're sure to find out. It won't change dysphoria, shame, or self-doubt. Your empathy won't be affected a schmids. Tell your best friend keep away from the fridge. People may hate you in spite of your help. Folks that you say may be hateful on Yelp. Imprudent investments will cost you your shirt. Though nothing can touch you, you still can be hurt. And now laser beams bounce off of me, and bullets do the same. Sticks and stones can't break my bones, but what about the names? I wanted to be safe from pain, I wanted to be free. Turns out invulnerability ain't what it's supposed to be. I want a refund.
Yay!
Bravo.
Was this about a specific superhero, your own superhero life experience?
I've always found, they always ask, like, what would your favorite superpower be and what would you want? And my answer has always been invulnerability, and nobody else ever chooses it. And I finally asked myself, well, why? And this is what I ended up with.
Is the special powers to be here. Was there any sort of specific incident that helped inspire that?
Not really. Like I said, the songwriting challenge that Molly and Ken came up with was sort of the inciting thing here. Otherwise, no one specific thing.
Sometimes it's just like an amalgamation of experience. You make songs as Sunday Comes Afterwards. Where does that name come from? So
that comes from the Rebecca Black classic song Friday.
Yes.
Yesterday was Thursday. Today it is Friday. We so excited. We so excited. We're going to have fun today. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday comes afterwards. I don't want this weekend to end. And I'm thinking, like, I'm a YouTube musician. I'm putting myself out there on the internet. I kind of feel a kinship. Although hopefully without the backlash she got.
When I went to look up your website to update the bots, it kept pulling up Rebecca Black's Friday. I'm like, well, that's really weird because it's a lyric in the song, but that must just be coincidence. I am so thrilled to find out that you actually took something from something terrible and made it good. Thank you for transforming the world with your own goodness and sharing your music with us today, and making Rebecca Black, almost cool again.
She's actually quite. She's continued with the singing. She's pretty good now. She has an EP out, and check her out later.
Noted. Okay.
Agreed.
Wow. All right. 2 votes for Rebecca Black.
Yes. The new stuff is okay.
I did not expect to hear that today. Not on AnthSOLogy. I will check it out. I will be open-minded. Stevonnie, since you were brave and you opened things up for us, you now have a choice before you. Would you like to hear from Zoenda or Amy next?
I guess we'll go with ukulele solidarity. So Zoenda, you're up.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you.
And audience members, if you would like to ask questions of any of our folks, please ask in the chat box, and we will definitely get to them in the second set. And the tip link that you can find just down below in the description is open for all of our performers today. Zoenda.
Yes.
You got a ukulele solidarity song for us?
I do. This is my Martin that I got from my great aunt. She gave it to me. Her husband had bought it in Hawaii when he was in service there, so it's got a little history. So this is what I learned on back when I was a little maiden in my 20s. I'll be singing, this first song I'm doing for you is called Emily. It's on my first album called Tumultuous Savages. and the front selling I'm going to give you on this one is that it's about, if you've ever questioned whether or not you should end a relationship, specifically a romantic partnership, but any kind of relationship where your person is triangulating. It's like that's a big warning sign. If they're talking about another person, comparing constantly, it's a little weird. So, and there's a little participation here, guys, if you'd like to, on the 2, 4, 6, and 8. So you can snap or clap along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel free, or don't, because I'm just here in my garage by myself. I won't hear you anyway. That's how that goes. Here we go. You've got the sweetest smile, even when you're acting like a jerk. And I love to hear your laughter, even though you're acting like a jerk. If you're over her, why you gotta answer her? Tap, tap, tap at your front door. You say I'm all you want, but I don't believe you. Why you let her sniff around here some more? Oops, hold on. You know I'm not Emily. I don't like what Emily likes, so stop making me feel like her substitute. You said you were done with her, but that ain't right. Winding road trip through Jerome to get away from the city lights and explore. You put in a CD that Emily likes and tell me about her amazing music collection some more. Stopping at a roadside jewelry shop, you pick up a turquoise necklace and latch it round my neck. You look into my eyes and will them to be hers. I can't believe I ended up with Emily's sloppy seconds. You know I'm not Emily. I don't like what Emily likes, so stop making me feel like her substitute. You said you were done with her, but that ain't right. Bridge. Oh, dang it, here we go. The bridge goes like this. So she sat with you when you got your Spider-Man tattoo. What an inky, tangled, messy web. Of course she's got the same one too. Da 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 da. Clap, clap. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know I'm not Emily. I don't like what Emily likes, so stop making me feel like her substitute. You said you were done with her, but that ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right.
Yes.
Oh my God, I made it.
You did it.
Woo!
All the nerves are gone now. You killed it.
I had the nervous poop already and everything.
Because your vagus nerve.
It's my vagus nerve was totally triggered by my brain. Woo! Thanks for having that. Yeah, that was from my first album, and there's a little truth woven into that. I feel like weaving truth into songs is great. I mean, whether or not it's something that happened to me or a story I've heard about, like, I feel like that, yeah, I had to trigger that moment for all of you.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's I think a lot of us have been there when you're comparing yourself to an old ex, but that's like insane. Like the same Spider-Man tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, there's literally there was a moment where I was visiting with a fella, and like the ex-girlfriend was like, and I'm like, what's she doing here? Like, there's trouble when the ex-girlfriend keeps on coming around
Because they're
So,
still friends.
still friends.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna give her some support. I was like, okay, you can give her some support. I'm out of here.
So that's from your first album, Tumultuous
Yes.
Savages.
Yes.
And is there another album in the works? Like you've done EPs?
There is. Yeah. I'm writing some new stuff. Some of it's already recorded, but I'm working mostly with Lee Wiggins on this. Yay for Lee. He's in Atlanta. I met him through theme music as well. He's an incredible producer and arranger. And so he brings a lot of different elements to the recordings that I do. So we'll layer tracks in Dropbox together, and we're doing a lot of co-writing on the lyrics on this one. But yeah, there's definitely at least an album's worth we're actually having to pare back some of the stuff, which sometimes I'm looking for filler, and this is one where I think I might have too much. Might have to pare some out. I'm excited.
In the Broadsides, we call this having to kill our darlings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dear goodness.
There's not always room for all of the babies, and sometimes they show up in another album, and sometimes they don't.
We were thinking about this being specifically kind of a concept album all around PBS and pledge drives, just sort of lamenting the state of the arts in the country and everything, and looking for ways to support it. So there might be mentions of tote bags in a song or two. Who knows?
I think that remote album work is now a thing that a lot of folks are trying out, sometimes for the first time, but it's an area that you have a lot of experience in. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Maybe give some hot tips to our audience on how to make really great long distance collaborations.
Gosh, yes. I mean, sometimes you might know the person well and you might understand how they communicate. And sometimes you have to get to know that and sometimes ask very direct questions where somebody else might intuit a little bit more. And everybody brings different experience to the table. So I can't speak to a lot of theory specifically when I'm communicating. So I'll sometimes use references of other songs I want it to sound like as far as instrumentation and everything. But yeah, it takes just a vibe, right? It's like you have to have that sort of click and kindness and everything, because sometimes people bring certain energy to projects, and if that's not your kind of energy, then maybe you want to work with somebody else. But using Dropbox has been incredible. You can put stuff in there and share mixes, number your mixes so you know what you're going after. Ask people up front how many takes they want to do on something, how many notes they want to receive, until they're like, well, I'm out of here because you keep on asking for changes. Some people love making changes. Some people hate it. They want to do one take, be like, here's my guitar track, so long, I'm off to something else. So you just kind of want to fish that out.
When you say you wanted a song to sound like something else, on Emily, did you give the note that it should sound a little bit like Weezer's Undone song?
I love you so much for saying that. I think on that one, I started with the ukulele and vocal, and I gave it to Lee. I asked him to add some synth. I said, I want to include some chimes. So I found like one of those chimes you just sort of run your fingers across that starts the recording. Also, at the time, this is very silly, this is hot trivia, but we were listening to a YouTube clip was going around, or it was a Vine that was going around. Remember when Vine was a thing?
Yeah.
It was the good morning to you, the birds are chirping. So it was a Vine. And so Lee and I decided to put chirping birds at the beginning of the song. So that's why you hear that at the beginning. There's just nonsense and just kind of gets layered.
Nonsense is how we make music. It's how it comes together. It's chaos, and then it organizes itself into something.
And honestly, I feel like most of the tracks where I've gotten things from people, they've given me stuff and it's all been used. There's like one song where I asked for an accordion track and I didn't use it. But for the most part, like, I use everything. I love asking somebody if they've got a glockenspiel and they can play like crazy mad mallets and put that in there. Awesome. Why not? I'm not trying to get added to radio. Just for fun. Either you like it or you don't.
Speaking of many layers and let's throw every instrument possible on the stage at once, Amy McNally, I'm going over to you because Amy has played in so many bands I've seen at FiltCons, and where they are it's Sean and McGuire's band with 500 people on stage. So how has that experience for you been? Like, have you've been on stage with other people? Do you pull other people on stage with you?
Oh yeah. And you know, gosh, sometimes if you have uh like a great sort of anthemic sort of chorusy song, you might want the Mahler Symphony of a Thousand, and sometimes when you're and that's less me. I don't write songs with lyrics really much. But sometimes, you just want to let a couple people or their instruments, shine. You just pull up one or two. Mostly, I learn from being part of the great mess. I learn where to say something in the conversation that is the song, and when to listen.
Yeah. No, it's a hard balance to make. But today we get to let you shine.
Hi.
So would you tell us a little bit about what you're going to play and give us some music?
Sure. You might not believe this, but I had two songs written down, two sets actually. Um, Celtic fiddlers tend to play like repeated tunes that have repeated short parts, and then put them in sets with other tunes. It's like lots of other folk music is structured that way, and one of my sets has Emily in it. I'm gonna play Emily's Lullaby and then go into a fiddle tune called The High Road to Linton. Emily's Lullaby, brief downer moment. My sister, suicide runs in my family. It's just something I've like dealt with since puberty. My grandfather passed away that way. My maternal uncle passed away that way. My mother passed away that way, and my sister attempted. And this is a song that I wrote when my sister had taken a bunch of pills, and she was away in a different state, and all I could do was call poison control, and then hope. And so I wrote her a lullaby and hoped that she would wake up. And she did. And she's doing a whole lot better now. And she's got like a happy family, 3 kids. She is a star. And so I like to play this song and remember like what she went through, and then play a happier song afterwards, just to kind of show that like we can get through this sort of thing. So here we go, another Emily song.
That was fantastic. Thank you for sharing your story. Buh.
Sorry, it's a tough one to get through. But when I talk about it, I always seem to have folks who come up to me and say, "Thank you for mentioning this taboo thing, or this thing that I fought with, or this thing that I experienced in my personal life." And so that's my little soapbox moment.
I'm glad that you did it. And it's I know that people write instrumental songs that are based on mental health and personal depression triggers, but it is unusual to hear somebody talk about their music that doesn't involve lyrics that talks about that. So I'm very glad that you were able to share that with us, and I'm glad that she's doing better.
It's interesting. It's a song that's from my album, and so I put it up as a sample track for when I do gigs. It's actually become a kind of a popular song for me to play at weddings.
Oh.
Because it's just a pretty melody that people like.
And yeah.
How nice for it to transform into kind of a song of joy. So.
I think you can definitely hear where you put hope into it. So I think that's a really great thing to start a life together with people with hope.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm good. Mental health, I think, is a thing that a lot of us deal with and struggle with, especially during this period where we're isolated and we're dealing with some of these things by ourselves. And it's really great that we have a community of friends that we can talk to about this and make music about and share it with. So thank you so much for sharing your music and your story. We are at halftime, and so I would like to thank our tippers during the first half of the show, Sunny Larson, who wishes us a happy AnthSOLOgy, and Dale Smith, who is a fabulous fan and supporter, and he says, thank you all for brightening our Saturday with your songs. So thank you so much for supporting AnthSOLOgy. As always, you can like and subscribe this video so other people can see it, and you can be notified of future AnthSOLOgies, which will be back again next week. And I'll tell you at the end of the show what we're doing. By then I'll have decided. No, I'm kidding. So we have had one song each from each of our fabulous performers. And I think the numbers, we have a 3, a 4, and a 5. We have a 3, 4, 5 left. So over in the chat box, second half, I know, you get to choose 3, 4, 5. Who's going to be the first one to it? Any bets? I don't know. They're all on mute. They're all ignoring me right now. We're just staring at the internet now, waiting for a number to come up. We have so many super awesome fans in the chat. And don't forget, if you have questions for our wonderful performers today, please feel free to ask in the chat, and we will ask them here during this second set of wonderful songs. We can ask about anything from what it's like to make collaborative music to favorite books. We'll probably talk about our favorite books anyway, because that's kind of a thing that we do. We have a number in the chat, and the number is 5. Who's number 5? Yay! So we're starting the way that we have begun. We are going back to the form. How are you doing over there? Bless you for turning your air conditioner off.
Yeah, a bit hot, but otherwise okay.
It's 1,000,000 degrees. In between, if you are muted and you need to turn your air conditioner on, we understand. How hot is it in Jersey City today?
I think it's in the 70s. It's really not. It's not so much the heat; it's the humidity, which I know is a cliche, but it's true though.
It was 90 here in Portland 2 days ago. 90 in May. I don't even know what's happening anymore. So, second song. Are you ready to destroy us with your love and awesomeness?
Thank you. Well, this one is kind of fluffier, I guess. No, it's not entirely true. It's a statement thing. Actually, it's a series of linguistics in-jokes. It's got 3 sentences. 2 of them are completely meaningless, but the last one is a serious social statement. it seems that there are these bison in upstate New York which bully bison from elsewhere, and those bison go on to bully the bison from upstate New York. So bison that are pushed around by bison from upstate New York in turn bully bison from upstate New York. Or to put it another way, buffalo, 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 buffalo. I think that's clear. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. The ghost actus stims the dashes. The ghost actus stims the dashes. The dashes have been distimmed by the ghost act that distims the dashes. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Buffalo, 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 buffalo. Thank you.
Yay, Buffalo! I love that song. It cracks me up when you do it. Because it's a complete sentence. And the Broadsides have a song called Buffalo. I think we talked about that when we were on tour. But ours was, a guy walked up to a table to us at Emerald City Comic Con, and Christian asked him, what are you a fan of? Like, we write about all these different things. And he just leans in and goes, Buffalo. And that was it. And I wish that we had been as clever enough to do the buffalo, buffalo, buffalo sentence and turn it into a song. I think it's just absolutely brilliant.
I mean, the song you guys came up with is also extremely good. So, yeah.
Thanks. Christian's fever dream at the table. I think it's really neat when somebody takes something that's part of the culture like that and turns it into a song that it is catchy and it will follow you around for days. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for writing about Buffalo. Is that going to be on your new album?
I hope so. Yes.
Are you going to call the new album Buffalo?
I doubt it. I don't have a title for the new album yet. The working title is We So Excited, but I'm not planning on actually using that. So
to continue the Rebecca Black thread.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's sweet. Now that I understand the Rebecca Black tie, I'm all in.
Cool.
That's fabulous. So do you have I know that you are sort of working on it right now. Do you have an estimated date you think it might be out in the world?
I don't. I mean, I'd like to have it out in time for the holiday gift buying season, if there is one this year. Yeah. We're in very early days at this point in terms of actually getting anything done. So stay tuned.
What's your feelings about physical versus digital media? Since you're talking about the holiday gift buying season, are you thinking about making vinyl? Are you thinking about making CDs?
Vinyl, probably not. CDs or maybe. I personally don't buy CDs or vinyl anymore. I am all in on MP3s. I see CDs as sort of an inefficient way of getting MP3s. But I know my sister...
The community just got really mad at you.
But my sister loves CDs. So, I mean, clearly they're, and I like to respect other people's, preferences. So, I mean, if people would like to get it on CD, then I would like to have a CD there for them to get. So, yeah.
It's hard to sign an MP3.
That is true.
There's that. But yeah, there are certain circles that I hope that you come in and join and perform in when we can be in public again. And the Filk community in particular has made it very clear that they like physical media.
Fair.
including cassettes. You can still buy cassettes from Friends of Filk.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can walk in and they have cassettes and VHS tapes. You feel like you're in the world's last blockbuster video, which is in Oregon. Uh, just FYI, fun Oregon facts. Thank you for writing about Buffalo. We are very excited about We So Excited. I'm gonna make it stick now because I think it's a great name. So much like the beginning, would you like to go to your ukulele sib in crime, or would you like to jump over to Amy McNally? The choice is yours.
I feel like variety is probably a good thing. So rather than doing the same thing every time, let's go back to Amy.
Amy, we're coming to you. I know. Were you prepared for us, or are we surprising you in your
I'm
narwhal?
prepared. I actually remembered that speaking of like PBS and pledge drives, I should mention that part of the reason you can hear me today is because of Dane Arts and the Dane Arts Need Grant, or DANG. Thank you, Dane Arts.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Is it a local grant?
It's a local grant from in Dane County, Wisconsin, and they came out with a chunk of money to help artists of any stripe who had been working and whose incomes were impacted by the duration, the recent unpleasantness, the pandemic, and the money ran out in 2 days, and I wasn't gonna apply, like blah blah self-image issues. But a friend of mine was like, no, like, this is you all over. Just fill out the form. And now it turns out to write a grant proposal, sometimes all you have to do is like fill out a 1-page questionnaire, attach a sample of your work, and give them a 1-paragraph biography.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, get it. And they helped. What did you end up using that funding for?
I used it for this lovely Audio Technica 2035, and for part of my digital interface, which is a Motu M2.
Wow. That's wonderful that you have the support of your local community to get to make music.
It was super validating, and I didn't see it coming. So I would encourage anybody who's like, oh, I'm not a real musician or whatever, and something like that comes along, to just try. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
How did you find out about that grant, and how would you suggest other people find grants like that in their community?
I just found out because a friend told me. But it was later on, I saw other artists on Facebook talking about the grant. But this was just pointed out to me by my aunt. And so, yay, people encouraging you to do things. But also, I think like a good Google search can probably do you some favors.
Fair. So
and just look for your local arts council or organization or funding.
That's great. No, thank you very much for letting us know about a source for people who are making music maybe at home by themselves right now. And I hope that helps you make awesome music outside of AnthSOLogy as well. I'm sure it does.
And then after they did that, they got a bunch more funding. So like they got to extend the grant, and I hope lots of communities are getting that kind of great opportunity.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
So check out your local arts council, get some of that sweet money, and you too can maybe be as awesome as Amy McNally. Amy, what are you playing for us?
I'm going to play 2 more compositions that have a story. I should mention that Emily's Lullaby and the first melody here, which is called Boxes, they're both on my current first solo album, which is called Hazardous Fiddle. I'm working on my second solo album, and I think I might call it Heretic Fiddle, because I play a 5-string, which is a little different than some fiddles. And the second half of this set has a song called Jack of the Dust, which will be on that album. Boxes is about packing your life up, and Jack of the Dust is about falling in love, and it's also the name of a supply officer on a naval ship. So. Thanks, y'all.
Bravo.
Oh, did I?
Jessica, you're muted.
I am. And now I'm not. That was marvelous. I giggled through the entire second half of that. So Boxes and Jack of the Dust together, like two cargo sort of related things going together. Was that intentional?
It was mostly they were both kind of had a B minor G major kind of thing going on, and they just sort of seemed to snuggle, and that can happen with the most random unconnected tunes. I just saw Sunny in the comments going, "Hooray, 5-string fiddles!"
Yeah. Would you tell us a little bit about your 5-string? Because that
Sure.
is definitely a unique instrument.
This is my baby. I started a Patreon because I had a 5-string electric violin, a Yamaha EV205, and I loved it, but I missed the acoustic sound. And I had talked to a maker who was new in the making violin scene, and I said, would you at all be interested in making a 5-string acoustic? And I thought he would be kind of iffy. And he came back to me with a 3-ring binder of a plan. And then I needed to fund it. And thank you, Patreon or Patreon, because here is my baby. They're becoming a little more popular, as mentioned in the comments. Sonny Larson has at least one, and it has all the strings of a violin, E, A, D, and G, but it also has all the strings of a viola, A, D, G, and C, but they're in a violin-shaped package. They're still at a 14-inch scale. That's how long they tend to be, and it's you can really get that low resonant chewiness, and I've started on my Patreon writing songs for the 5-string fiddle, like particularly that use all the range that I get to have, and that's great fun.
It's such a beautiful sound. It reminds me a little bit of the Hardanger fiddles with the drone strings underneath. So it's an 8-string fiddle with 4 on top and 4 on the bottom. For people who haven't seen one before, but they're gorgeous, and you get that sort of same resonance on the 5-string. Just so beautiful. Cool. Yeah, I can look at them. I can't touch them. They're very expensive.
There's a guy in Black Earth. Do I mean Black Earth? There's a guy in Wisconsin, in a town with a big shoe store, who makes Hardangers.
Oh, no.
And I got to go in and look at them once. And they're tuned different to my fiddle. They have a more droney tuning. But I got to play one. It was great fun.
Oh my goodness! If you ever get to go back, stream it. I want to see you playing Hardanger.
That would be awesome. That would be a great episode of Amy Does Stuff, or whatever my show would be.
I think that's as good a name as any. But you cannot have We So Excited, because that is already taken.
I actually quite like We So Excited too.
Maybe you could share it.
Whatever title.
It's a buddy comedy with an album with it. I smell a plot. So we are down to our final performance for this afternoon, for this 6th episode of AnthSOLOgy. And we're going over to Miss Zoenda down there in lovely Southern California. Zoenda, you have so much beautiful art on your walls, and I know you are a connoisseur. What is the meaning behind some of the glory that is going on behind you?
Well, in Corona times, the room that had been my music making space, which had a lot of this in it, has been taken over and now is my husband's home office. So now we are in my garage, and I sort of just wanted to build just a colorful backdrop for all my Zoom meetings and everything. So this is an Easy Rider poster that my mom got from the producers way back when. So that's a family heirloom. These two are by Steve Keen. You guys might know from doing the artwork on Pavement's album. I commissioned these from him because he's amazing. This is, I don't know if you could tell, it's the song titles from New Order's album Substance, by a gentleman named Standard Designs on Etsy. So he makes them all look like penguin books. So that's all the songs from New Order's album Substance.
Huh.
And just stuff that brings me joy, y'all.
That's marvelous. Thank you for giving us a peek into your joy.
Carol Burnett.
Oh.
Really very silly, but also honestly a really lovely actress. Great timing, musical, fun, all that. An inspiration.
I feel that. I've got my wall of science restarted behind me. We've got Carl Sagan and Bill Nye, and right above me is Rosalind Franklin. So we put up the things that bring us joy in the spaces that do. Yeah.
I know we're heading to the close. Thanks for all sticking around, you guys. I'm going to play you a song that I was actually assigned when I started taking piano lessons last February. As a 40-whatever-year-old woman, I was like, I finally deserve to take piano lessons. I'm going to do this. Because again, if not now, when? So one of the first assignments was she wanted us to start writing a song using the note C as the very first note. And besides that, no guidance at all. So I wrote a little thing, and she said, what do you want to call it? And I thought, beauty is only skin deep, but ugly runs clean to the bone. From Dorothy Parker made that quote many years ago because she's a sassy lady. And so I started to build on that. And then I joined this music group called Entitled Music, and the entitled piece that he wanted everybody to write was called Scandal's Treasure. And I thought, oh, okay, I can use this all together. And Scandal's Treasure made me think of the band Scandal from the 80s. So there's a warrior line in here that you'll get because, hat tip to Scandal. So here we go. Never say die and pick up the pieces. There's nobody here to corroborate one bit of this, so keep telling lies and stick to what's needed. There's somebody here to go over the finest details. Far as I know, you're effusive and hungry. Don't mind if I do, but the feeling's sweet and sickening, so pinpoint the place that's closer to unknowing. There's somebody here to go. Oh, sorry, my key's stuck. There's hope and trust here when we dig up the scandal's treasure. The scandal's treasure. Beauty is only skin deep, but ugly runs clean to the bone. So I say, mirror, mirror on the wall, oh, can you please tell me what is wrong with me? Please, mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me what is wrong. Shooting at the walls of heartache, bang, bang, I am the warrior. Shooting at the walls of heartache, bang, bang, I am the warrior. Beauty is only skin deep, but ugly runs clean to the bone. Thank you. And you can find that on the upcoming new album that has yet to be named, and it can't be We So Excited, Dadgum.
Nope.
But that will be on there with a full, it's already actually exists on the internet as a rough mix, but Lee Wiggins and I are adding some arrangement pieces. So there you go.
Wow. I'm sure it will have some sort of super stellar name. We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
No,
and
that's
maybe
the
I should
name.
ask
We'll
Amy,
workshop
maybe
it.
I'll see if she can do a file share because it actually has some strings in it, but it's just synth strings. So maybe I need a real fiddle. Maybe I need a... Yeah. So maybe this is where the magic happens, right here.
Well, as we know, Amy hates being on other people's projects and has never played in anybody else's band ever. So I think we've got a collaboration in the making. Did I describe you accurately, Amy?
Yes, beautiful.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much to Desi for tipping us during that last segment. Tipping is open for all of our performers who get your tips after the show. And the tipping link will remain active for the next few days as hopefully people come back and rewatch this, because it will be up on YouTube for your enjoyment to come back and hear the songs from these magnificent people. I want to thank you so much for sharing your talent and your time and your stories today. AnthSOLogy is a bright spot in the middle of my week, and I think a bright spot for a lot of other people in the chat. So thank you so much, and I hope that you come back and join us again very soon.
Thank you, everyone.
So please check out the notes after the show, and hopefully you can also see in the chat where you can find all of their fabulous music. So Zoenda is PERIL on Bandcamp. Yes, Card Shot.
That's my merch.
You can find Stevonnie Ross as Sunday Comes Afterwards. And Amy McNally is everywhere on Patreon and a million other places. So thank you all so much for joining us. On behalf of the PDX Broadsides, I'm Dr. Jessica Hebert. Thank you for tuning in to AnthSOLogy. Next week, we'll be back with episode number 7, where you can hear the talents of 3 brand new contenders to the AnthSOLogy crown. There is no crown. We're all winners here. We will have Isaac King from Oregon, Cacophony Tamayo, and they're from Washington, and Juliana Finch, who is our label sister, who lives out in beautiful Raleigh, North Carolina. So 3 new contenders next week here on AnthSOLogy. Have a good night. Thank you so much.